Okay, so on to the next part of our process. This part is super important, really just like all of the parts, but this section of it is what we tend to skip. And yeah, I'll just tell you what it is first, and then I'll go into it. So first, we have evaluating our progress. Evaluations are a must. We cannot skip this step. And adjusting our action plan based on the evaluation. And then we have our celebration of our growth and successes, not just of having reached our goal, but also our progress along the way. So with our evaluations, we think about, I like to write it out. You don't necessarily have to, but for me, when I'm actually writing, or sometimes I type it out too, when I'm actually writing it out and I can see everything, then it leads to more and more kind of deeper level of thinking rather than just the surface level of what actions did I take. I'll explain that more too. So with the first part of the evaluation, we talk about what worked. So that's kind of like what successes we have, what tangible success and intangible stuff too. The second part is we talk about what didn't work for us. And then the last section is what you're going to do differently from now on or for the next however long until your next evaluation. So again, what worked, what didn't work, and what we're going to do differently. So with what worked, this is like the evidence that you have of progress. And sometimes we might be like, well, I didn't have any progress. There's no evidence. There's nothing that I see. So sometimes we have to think really deeply about this part or just get past that initial reaction of I'm not making progress, which a lot of us, including myself, tend to do, where we're like, nothing's working, I'm not growing, I'm stuck, that tendency to just stay there. This is helping us go beyond that habit that we have so that we can actually see the growth, which then leads to more and more growth. So this isn't only about those tangible action steps, like I said. So you might start writing those down, or tangible results. So it might be like, I lost 4 pounds. If you have a business marketing related one, I posted 10 posts this month, or like my kitchen is clean, or whatever your goal is, whatever tangible results you could have. But it's also about the thoughts and the feelings that you had that helped you to take action and that helped you to feel like what you're doing is working and what you're doing is worth it. So what thoughts did you have that were helpful? What feelings did you have? It could be like a feeling of clarity, or like you just know what you're supposed to do. You're not like, I don't know how. You're not stuck in that kind of, unfocused thinking. It could be like the thought that you had, like, this is working. I'm able to do this. I'm capable. I believe in myself. Whatever those thoughts are that kept you moving forward and taking action. What were those days where you were like on fire? What were you thinking and feeling in those moments? Okay, so that's what worked. So then we're on to what didn't work. We do what worked first because often a lot of us will only see what didn't work, or will only focus on what didn't work because that's what we think we need to like fix in order to move forward. We still have to make sure that we see what is working. So we're like, okay, things are moving, things are working, and then we can talk about what didn't work. So with this section, some questions that I like to ask myself are, where was I like micro quitting? What little things was I doing along the way that were kind of like I was quitting on myself, even just a little bit. What were you avoiding during this process or during this month, however often you want to do your evaluation? I'll talk about that in a minute too. What unhelpful thoughts and feelings did you have that were keeping you from moving forward towards your goals? So it could be like, I'm too tired, I don't know how, or this is too hard, or anything that kept you from wanting to take action. And then where did you find comfort rather than allowing yourself to feel uncomfortable during this process? Because with growth and with transformation comes huge discomfort sometimes. And when we just keep sinking back into feeling comfortable or allowing ourselves to be like, okay, I'm tired of feeling unsafe, I'm tired of feeling vulnerable, I'm tired of feeling tired, or whatever it is, then we revert back to just same old comfort zone. So where were you trying to find comfort in regard to reaching your goal as compared to pushing yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone, or a lot? So create your list of what didn't work. You can add thoughts and feelings and actions, like what actions actually didn't help you get any progress there. And just write out everything that comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be structured or nice or anything. So that brings you to, what would you do differently? This is the last part of your evaluation. So watch out with this, not to kind of like just change all your actions. So keep in mind what was working, and keep in mind too that not all of this is about the action steps that you take. So the first thing you could ask yourself right here is like, what do I want to continue doing or do more of that was already working from the last time? So if something you noticed you enjoyed and that was actually getting you some results along the way, and you want to do more of that, then that's awesome. Like, add that and make sure you actually want to, because you don't want to turn into like, I have to do this in order to make more progress. You don't want it to turn into feeling like hustly or like pressure, rather than kind of aligned action, like aligned with the feeling that we were working on in the last video, the feeling of, having that result already. So don't let it turn into pressure or hustle or anything. So what do you want to do more of that was already working? And then what do you want to change? Like, what new actions might you want to add in? What do you want to take out that didn't work? And then what do you want to believe? This is important. So we don't want to leave the mindset out of it, because that's really where all of it starts, right? We have a thought that leads to a feeling that leads to our action or our inaction. So addressing the thoughts and the feelings first is like the biggest thing in taking action that's actually going to bring about result. So what do you want to believe on purpose about yourself, about your ability to achieve your goal, your ability to make progress even before you achieve your goal, or anything that you think would be helpful? What do you want to believe on purpose, even if it feels delusional? Because who cares if you're deluding yourself, or who cares if you aren't staying realistic or whatever it might be, if those delusional feelings and thoughts are leading to your growth and are leading to results that you want. So what do you want to believe on purpose that's going to keep you moving forward? And it might be like, I am the most awesome person there is in the world. You might not connect with that. It might be simpler than that. Like, I'm making progress and I am doing this. I'm capable. I can do this. I'm already seeing the success, or I'm already seeing my growth. So I'm going to continue with it. Whatever thoughts and feelings that you have that you want to kind of add to what you've been doing or to change in order to pull yourself forward instead of forcing forward will be really helpful. And then you'll add that to your next month's plan. So I talked about a little bit like how often you are going to do these evaluations, and that's really up to you. I like to do them monthly because, I have my 90-day goal. So a monthly check-in is really helpful toward that. So I can adjust things as I need to on that monthly basis. So I set up a reminder on the 1st of every month to do this evaluation. Before I started adding evaluations in, I just kind of would feel like I was making progress because I was really busy, I was really productive, but I didn't even realize that those things that I was doing weren't actually bringing any results or not much to in the way that I wanted. And so from the evaluations, I recognized that I was doing the same thing over and over and like had the same pattern of I do a lot of stuff and it's not really aligned with what I want. And I feel like I'm really busy, but then nothing actually ever changes. And so once I started doing these evaluations every single month without fail, I actually was like adjusting and building on my growth and doing this in an intentional way. I was planning intentionally, and that's when things started to change for me. So don't skip this. Do it in whatever amount of time, whatever time frame you want to do it. So if it works for you to do it weekly or monthly or quarterly each year, then do that. But whatever you do, add it to your reminders, add it to your calendar, and don't skip it. It's huge. This is so important. Okay, so next we are going to adjust our action plan based on the insight that we got from the evaluation. So you came up with your action plan in 2 videos ago. And that was either some action steps that you added to your calendar, or it was a list of your steps that you would, your tiny steps, right, that you would take action on in order of how you wrote them out. So now with your evaluation, the insight that you got from that, what needs to change on your list or on your calendar to reflect what you learned from looking back on the past month or a week or however often you're doing your evaluations? What needs to change, and then make those changes on your calendar. So yeah, like I said, for me, one of the biggest adjustments that I needed to make was recognizing that I was falling back into those patterns of thoughts and feelings, and then getting myself out of that pattern so that I could actually get back on track and not do the same loop over and over again. Yeah, okay, so you have your evaluations reminders set, you complete your evaluation, you adjust your action plan based on those regularly, right? Not just doing a bunch of stuff hoping that it's working. And then that's what brings us to celebrations. So celebrations are not only for when you reached your goal, but they're also for making any kind of progress along the way, whether that's like tangible, you can see the progress, or whether it's a feeling that you have about yourself or just about your process. So this is really, really important also to, kind of tag on to our evaluations, because we don't often allow ourselves to actually recognize that we are growing and to recognize our wins. So this goes along with the beginning of our evaluation, like what went well, what was working. And so really, what's the point of doing all this work and going through this process of change if we're not going to give ourselves the satisfaction of feeling that and feeling good for that and feeling good for our progress and our forward movement. And then once you get used to celebrating, like I am slowly doing now, because I never did it before, I just was always on to the next thing, right? Then our brains and our bodies start to look forward to this celebration, and then they want to actually do the work to get to that point of being able to celebrate something. It's kind of funny how they get used to it and then they want to continue that, and it's fun to notice that. So don't skip it. I skipped it for a really long time, but now that I've been doing it more regularly, I say more because I still forget to do it. So it's kind of hard to like remember to do it when it's not a regularly scheduled thing, like if it's after some win. So after I noticed, I began to become aware of when I was like a little bit proud that I did something or I did something that was scary, then I made sure to go do my celebration like right away. So once I started to do this, it made everything way more fun and way more worth the hard work that I was putting in. And this is how we want to feel. Like this is the point of doing a lot of this stuff is feeling this sense of satisfaction and pride, and like I'm doing something that I want and it's feeling good. So how do you celebrate? That was my biggest thing. I'm like, but I don't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do to celebrate? Do I just say, yay, I did it, or what? This is really just something you have to kind of cultivate and do some trying out of different things. But your celebrations don't have to be huge, but they can be if you feel like something you did was so huge that you want to make it bigger. But when I do something that I'm proud of, and I recognize it in the moment, then I take a step back. I don't just move on, and I play some song that I really am into at that moment, and I let myself have a little dance party in my office kitchen, and I dance to the whole song. And this dancing is sometimes just a little boogie if I'm extra tired, or it's full on flinging my hair around and going crazy for the entire song. I try not to let myself poop out before it's over. And I'm in the feeling of I did that. I'm so proud. I'm so excited the whole time. Sometimes it starts to wear off, so I have to like bring it back and remember how proud I was for the whole 3 minutes or however long it is. So yeah, we got to let those good feelings flow. So this could, I mean, dance parties is like my way of doing it. I like to do it with my daughter too, but it could be something like you go out to dinner or whatever with some people who you want to celebrate with or who want to celebrate you. So family, friends, whatever it would be. You could cook yourself a decadent meal, something that you wouldn't normally have or wouldn't normally spend the time cooking because you're like, I deserve this. I worked really hard. I'm going to make myself an awesome meal. Or you could toast with a glass of bubbly or have a little dance party with yourself or somebody else. Could be taking like a 5-minute timeout to meditate on the feeling of success and pride or whatever the feeling is that you'd want to focus on. You could take a bath. There's so many options, and it really is just up to what you want to do. Maybe you want to go for a walk and listen to music or go for a little hike. But if it feels overwhelming, then cut it back. Make it so simple and so quick so that you don't skip it. And it doesn't matter what you do. Just make sure that you do it, because it's what makes it all worth it. So with your overall goal plan that you have, with evaluating, with adjusting along the way, and celebrating, you seriously can't go wrong in the process of reaching your goals. Like, that's it. That's all you need. And if you feel like there's more that you need, then reach out to me. We can absolutely talk about it, because there's so many obstacles that feel like they're totally not possible to overcome. And I can help you with that. So email me, message me, text me if you have my phone number, whatever it is. Just let me know. And I would love, love, love to talk to you about that. And then the biggest thing on top of what we've talked about is just having fun through this whole process. We don't want to take it too seriously, because that really sucks out all the motivation that we have, and it just makes it feel like pressure, which can be a lot harder to make ourselves do the work that we want to do if it feels like there's pressure or like forcing behind it. So work these evaluations and celebrations into your monthly plans. Set up reminders to help you remember to do it, and then enjoy the feelings of intentional planning and progress, and the joy of celebration, because that is what it's all about, is feeling that pride and that sense of satisfaction that you're doing something for you and moving forward and growing. Good luck, have fun, and I'll talk to you guys soon about your progress.